A long time ago, a wealthy man was having an affair with an Italian woman. One night, during one of their rendezvous, she confided in him that she was pregnant. Not wanting to ruin his reputation or his marriage, he paid her a large sum of money if she would go to Italy to have the child. If she stayed in Italy, he would also provide child support until the child turned 18. She agreed, though she wondered how he would know when the baby was born. To keep it discreet, he told her to mail him a postcard and write "spaghetti" on the back. He would then arrange for child support. One day, about 9 months later, he came home to his confused wife. "Honey," she said, "you received a very strange postcard today." "Oh, just give it to me, and I'll explain it later," he said. The wife handed the card over and watched as her husband read the card, then promptly turned white and fainted. Alarmed, she picked up the card on the floor and read aloud. "Spaghetti, spaghetti, spaghetti. 2 with meatballs, 1 without." When I got home last night, my wife demanded that I take her somewhere expensive. So I took her to a gas station. That's when the fight started. After retiring, I went to the Social Security office to apply. The woman behind the counter asked me for my driver's license to verify my age. I looked in my pockets and realized I had left my wallet at home. I told the woman that I was very sorry, but I would have to go home and come back later. The woman said, "Unbutton your shirt." So I opened my shirt, revealing my curly silver hair. She said, "That silver hair on your chest is proof enough for me," as she processed my Social Security application. When I got home, I excitedly told my wife about my experience at the Social Security office. She said, "You should have dropped your pants. You might have gotten disability too." And that's when the fight started. My wife and I were sitting at a table at my high school reunion, and I kept staring at a drunken lady swigging her drink as she sat alone at a nearby table. My wife asked, "Do you know her?" "Yes," I sighed. "She's my old girlfriend. I understand she took to drinking right after we split up those many years ago, and I hear she hasn't been sober since." "My God," says my wife. "Who would think that a person could go on celebrating that long?" And that's when the fight started. An older couple, who were both widowed, had been going out with each other for a long time. Urged on by their friends, they decided it was finally time to get married. Before the wedding, they went out to dinner and had a long conversation regarding how their marriage might work. They discussed finances, living arrangements, and so on. Finally, the old gentleman decided it was time to broach the subject of their physical relationship. "How do you feel about he asked, rather tentatively. "I would like it infrequently," she replied. The old gentleman sat quietly for a moment, adjusted his glasses, then leaned over towards her and whispered, "Is that 1 word or 2? I took my wife to a restaurant. The waiter, for some reason, took my order first. "I'll have the strip steak, medium rare, please," he said. "Aren't you worried about the mad cow?" "Nah, she can order for herself." And that's when the fight started. A man and a woman were asleep like 2 innocent babies. Suddenly, at 3 o'clock in the morning, a loud noise came from outside. The woman, bewildered, jumped up from the bed and yelled at the man, "Holy crap! That must be my husband!" So the man jumped out of bed, scared. He jumped out the window. He smashed himself on the ground, ran through a thorn bush, and got to his car as fast as he could go. A few minutes later, he returned and went up to the bedroom and screamed at the woman. "I am your husband!" The woman yelled back, "Yeah, then why were you running?" And that's when the fight started. Saturday morning I got up early, quietly dressed, made my lunch, grabbed the dog, and slipped quietly into the garage. I hooked up the boat to the truck, and proceeded to back out into a torrential downpour. The wind was blowing 50 miles per hour, so I pulled back into the garage, turned on the radio, and discovered that the weather would be bad all day. I went back into the house, quietly undressed, and slipped back into bed. I cuddled up to my wife's back, now with a different anticipation, and whispered, "The weather out there is terrible." My loving wife of 10 years replied, "Can you believe my stupid husband is out fishing in that?" And that's when the fight started. A 5-year-old girl went to visit her grandmother one day. She played with her dolls as Grandma dusted the furniture. At one point, she looked up and asked, "Grandma, how come you don't have a boyfriend?" Grandma replied, "Honey, my TV is my boyfriend. I can sit in my bedroom and watch it all day. The TV evangelists keep me company and make me feel so good. The comedies make me laugh. I'm so happy with my TV as my boyfriend." Grandma turned on the TV, and the picture was horrible. She started adjusting the knobs, trying to get the picture in focus. Frustrated, she started hitting the back of the TV, hoping to fix the problem. The little girl heard the doorbell ring, so she hurried to open the front door. When she opened the door, there stood Grandma's minister. The minister said, "Hello, young lady. Is your grandma home?" The little girl replied, "Yeah, she's in the bedroom banging her boyfriend." Two guys grow up together, but after college, one moves to New York and the other to Washington. They agree to meet every 10 years in Florida to play golf and catch up with each other. At age 32, they meet, finish their round of golf, and head for lunch. "Where do you want to go?" "Hooters." "Why Hooters?" "They have those servers with the big the tight shorts and the gorgeous legs." "You're on." At age 42, they meet and play golf again. "Where do you want to go for lunch?" "Hooters." "Again?" "Why?" "They have cold beer, big screen TVs, and side action on the games." "Okay." At age 52, they meet and play again. "So where do you want to go for lunch?" "Hooters." "Why?" "The food is pretty good, and there's plenty of parking." "Okay." At age 62, they meet again. After a round of golf, one says, "Where do you want to go?" "Hooters." "Why?" "Wings are half price, and the food isn't too spicy." "Good choice." At age 72, they meet again. Once again, after a round of golf, one says, "Where shall we go for lunch?" "Hooters." "Why?" "They have 6 handicapped parking spaces right by the door, and they have senior discounts." "Great choice." At age 82, they meet and play again. "Where should we go for lunch?" "Hooters." "Why?" "Because we've never been there before." "Okay, let's give it a try." One day, while he was at the track playing the ponies and all but losing his shirt, Mitch noticed a priest who stepped out onto the track and blessed the forehead of one of the horses lining up for the 4th race. Lo and behold, that horse, a very long shot, won the race. Before the next race, as the horses began lining up, Mitch watched with interest as the old priest stepped onto the track. Sure enough, as the 5th race horses came to the starting gate, the priest made a blessing on the forehead of one of the horses. Mitch made a beeline for a betting window and placed a small bet on the horse. Again, even though it was another long shot, the horse the priest had blessed won the race. Mitch collected his winnings and anxiously waited to see which horse the priest would bless for the 6th race. The priest again blessed the horse. Mitch bet big on it, and it won. Mitch was elated. As the races continued, the priest kept blessing long-shot horses, and each one ended up coming in first. By and by, Mitch was pulling in some serious money. By the last race, he knew his wildest dreams were going to come true. He made a quick dash to the ATM, withdrew all his savings, and awaited the priest's blessing that would tell him which horse to bet on. True to his pattern, the priest stepped onto the track for the last race and blessed the forehead of an old nag that was the longest shot of the day. Mitch also observed the priest blessing the eyes, ears, and hooves of the old nag. Mitch knew he had a winner and bet every cent he owned on the old nag. He then watched dumbfoundedly as the old nag came in dead last. Mitch, in a state of shock, made his way down to the track area, where the priest was. Confronting the old priest, he demanded, "Father, what happened? All day long, you blessed horses and they all won. Then, in the last race, the horse you blessed lost by a Kentucky mile. Now, thanks to you, I've lost every cent of my savings, all of it." The priest nodded wisely and with sympathy. "Son," he said, "that's the problem with most people. You can't tell the difference between a simple blessing and the last rites." Grinning face with smiling eyes. If you enjoyed that, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video with more laughs and good times. Stay awesome, and keep smiling.